Hello, hello. I tried to set us up outside today, but actually where I am, I'm in Bali right now, and where I am, there's a waterfall like right outside. So it's basically this like consistent white noise, which is beautiful and relaxing and amazing, but on video, it's a little bit too much like shh the whole time, so we don't want that. So hello, hello. I'm actually recording this now from Bali, where I will be for the next few months. And I am wanting this entire topic. It's really nothing that I've ever talked about before, but I have been location independent for like pretty much my whole owning my business. I did, of course, take advantage of the fact that I was in one place when I was in San Francisco for a long time, but pretty much have been location independent for a long time, and now am really full force for the past couple of years, have been running my business that way. So wanting to chat with all of you, if you are wanting to be location independent, if you're wanting to grow your business, a lot of the clients that I work with are wanting to get to that point, and you actually are already doing services or doing something that allows you to be location independent, but you just haven't made that leap yet. And that's the one piece that I want to talk about today, is some of the sticky things that come up for us when we want to take that leap, but we are feeling nervous. And so I even, first and foremost want you to excavate for yourself about what makes you nervous about it, or what are you not willing to let go of that's kind of making you a little bit nervous about being fully location independent. So I know for me, for example, I really wanted to make sure that especially when I left for Hong Kong. So in 2014, I moved to Hong Kong, and that was a really big thing for me because I actually was really afraid that people weren't going to, it's kind of, I was in San Francisco for so long, and so when you're around people, when you're, at parties or at shows or at networking events, then you are top of mind, right? So I really was afraid that my leaving was going to mean that I was no longer top of mind, that I was no longer what people thought of right away, or that they thought it was inaccessible, because there's still, it's changed even in the last couple of years so much, but there's still this, a lot of people prefer to work with somebody who's close by, even if you don't work together in person. For some reason, there's that thing of like, I want someone who's close by. I don't even know why, right? It's like how my mom is like, come back, and I'm like, we can talk anytime right here. But basically, for you to recognize that it is so easy. So I'm here to calm some of those fears in terms of being accessible, that there are people that will want to work with you no matter where you are, and that if they know that they get to work with you over Zoom, they know they get to schedule a call with you, Zoom or Skype. Zoom is a video platform, or Skype, or even if you just do phone calls, or maybe you do the kind of remote work, consulting work that actually just requires you to do it over email, or that kind of thing, if it's a design or development job. So all of those, one of the fears for me, like I said, was accessibility, and wanting to really know that people weren't just going to forget about me when I left, or if I wasn't there. And so nothing further could be from the truth, and nothing further could be from is that how you say that phrase? But also that something that I didn't realize how wonderful it was going to be was how I created this new community where I went, and how I was able to then meet people who actually, me coming from California to Hong Kong was a really big, I felt like my work and my knowledge and my wisdom and what I was offering wasn't like what they had seen in Hong Kong. And so depending on where you're moving, obviously, if that, what the expat community looks like, that just to remember that your services and your magic, you might have a huge opportunity of landing some new clients, not the least of which, even if it's not directly where you are, but that you might be close to another city or metropolis or network or community that is looking for skills like yours, right? So just remembering that the possibilities don't end and you don't leave those behind where you move from, but that where you go and makes sense once you spell it out. But just in terms of really easing those fears of being accessible and wanting to make sure that you are still going to be thought of. But also one of the really, really big ones is that we are marketing ourselves online these days. So whether I was like back in San Francisco publishing online, or whether I'm in another place, it's the same amount of stuff that you're doing online. It's the same way you're emailing your lists or posting on Facebook or Instagram stories. So your ability to stay top of mind, if that's, if you're wanting to do that with your network or your clients, is just as possible. And yes, there might be some people who write you off, but there's actually going to be some people who pay attention to you even more. So just really remembering that there's no problem in that, like your accessibility is you are still accessible. It's just time zones. In fact, I rarely work with people on the East Coast just because it ends up being either really super early in the morning for me or them, or late at night for me or them. And so that time zone doesn't work for me anymore. But it was never a huge, huge market for me, and it's still possible and doable. I still have people that if they want to work with me and they're on the East Coast, I just say, okay, but this is going to require you to do it at this time, and they say yes. So as long as my clients are okay with that time zone for those calls, then that is doable. So, there's actually a deeper thing in here, which you guys hear me talk about a lot, which is setting the boundaries for your own business and being able to really know and set up how you want to work. And so I see some people that are over here, and it certainly has happened to me. I did it in the beginning, but I realized quickly it does not work for me, is some people over here will have calls really late at night, like 11, 12 a.m. And I was like, I'm a night owl. I'll be able to do that, no problem. And I did that when I first moved here. And what I quickly realized is that your mind is just foggier at night, and you're really needing that relaxation time at the end of the day. So now I book all my calls in the morning, and then that's really nice because I actually have this expansive space in the afternoon when America is sleeping, that I can get my other work done. So it's actually pretty great. You should come out here and join me in Bali. I also set this up behind me. I'd love to be outside, but this is actually a monkey forest behind me. So if you see any of these trees like shaking around, it's because there's monkeys in there, which is so cool. So I am in Ubud, Bali right now, which I'm just absolutely loving. I was just in Ho Chi Minh City for 10 days prior to this for 2 conferences. So that's another thing to remember, is that when you are in these other cities, in these other countries, you have access to these other networks and conferences and things going on. So I would never have known this back when I lived in San Francisco, but that I got to go to this incredible Vietnam blockchain conference last week and meet all these incredible people. There's huge expat communities pretty much everywhere, certainly in major cities. And so I got to meet all these new people, learn so much, and then also even hear and see how Malaysia is adopting blockchain, Vietnam is adopting blockchain, like things that, just remembering that there's these other major cities and metropolises that are doing very cool things with technology. And actually, if you are, in America or in Australia or somewhere that has a lot of knowledge about these things, bring those to these other countries that need them, that, not that they need you because they've got tons of smart people in and of themselves, but to be able to then go, network and share ideas with them. I will tell you about Ho Chi Minh City. I've never experienced, and my friend also said this as well, but especially at blockchain conferences, and if you're not in blockchain and you are a woman, I would love to help you learn a little bit more about it. I'm super newbie myself, but just raise your hand and be like, I know nothing about blockchain and I want to help you, because I had someone help me and it was a huge eye-opener. So, but just recognizing how open and friendly the people are, that, and actually in all of Ho Chi Minh City too, it was just such an awesome entrepreneurial community. Same with Chiang Mai, same with Bali. I just met someone yesterday by sitting down in this cafe across from her, and she's from Australia. And so it's amazing how much you realize that there's people, these like-minded people all over the world just like you, that when you get out of, and she was in the same position, selling her car, leaving her place, and just being able to live other places for a while. You just meet these incredible people. And I'll tell you, like, I posted this on Instagram the other day, that my soul, my heart and soul, like, if you love traveling, if you're someone who loves traveling, it is so liberating. It's incredible. I'm in a place now, so I was based in Hong Kong, and right now I'm actually full nomad. So literally, this is where I live, is in this little villa right now. And this is where I have one backpack and one suitcase, and that's all I'm traveling with. And it's so cool to be like, wherever I am, this is where I live, and that there's no other mental overhead of any other bills, any other rents, anything like that is requiring me to be taking care of it. But instead, I'm taking care of myself right here and now in this place. It's also brought up a really interesting insight, which is so there's SOPs for your team, which stands for Standard Operating Procedure. And I have SOPs for my whole team, and there's also now a new SOP that I've created, which is like the SOP for when I land into a new city, and the things that I want and the things that I'm looking for. So, I have an assistant who books my flights, which I highly recommend. You have someone who helps book your stuff or just handle the little things that end up taking hours. Not that I still don't do it sometimes, but basically having an assistant who helps book all those things, but also, for example, in my SOP, I've got things like, when I arrive, these are the things that I want in the place that I'm staying in, and when I arrive, these are the things that I need to figure out. I'm doing what's called slow traveling, which is essentially, I stayed in Ho Chi Minh City for 10 days, but that would really be the minimum. I really like to stay somewhere for at least 2 weeks, if not like a month or 2, depending on what the visa requirements. So I got a 60-day visa here for Bali, and I'll be extending it another 30 days. So that's like 90 days. And just really being able to rest into that. These places are great, especially in Thailand and in here, where you can rent actually like weekly and monthly and find these places that already have a lot of things set up for you. But then you've got your own like personal things that you might want. So for example, if you do want to find a place, make sure it has a fridge of some sort, make sure it has a kitchen if you're a really big cook. I don't need a full kitchen, because especially in these places where it's so inexpensive to just eat out at delicious, healthy food, I'm like, yes, please cook for me. But if you are somebody who really wants to, you can totally find places that are like that, and you can just drop in for like a month. And then other little things are like your preferences, So I've now got that, and it actually really has made me realize how important the network is, the referral network. So every single time you land in a new city, every single time I land in a new city, I join these Facebook groups that are for that city. So in Thailand, there's a few like conscious communities that I'll join. Any like local conscious community. Ubud is all conscious, so pretty much there's not a community that's not conscious here. So they don't even have one called Conscious Community. But for things like that, and so actually in Ubud, one of the ones that I definitely join is like those who are digital nomads, because those are going to be the people who know where the fast internet is, who know, kind of the challenges or the needs of the digital nomad, which I've never adopted that name necessarily. I always call myself location independent. But I'm definitely nomadic right now for the next 6 months, traveling totally out of my suitcase and my backpack, and with everything that's with me basically. And I might even go to Europe this summer, but then I know for sure in the fall I'll be landing back in Chiang Mai. Or at least that's the plan. We'll see what happens. But I've hired a few new people on my team, so it's all business as usual, right? And I'm getting things done. I go to a co-working space here where I've got to see good friends and meet new people. So you definitely can drop in. So what's nice, so back to the Facebook groups and the referral network, it really makes you realize how important that is. Think about if you're going to get your hair cut, or you want some service done in the town that you live in, you want to ask friends, right? Yes, you may Yelp, you may Foursquare, you may do something that's whatever your local service is, but really you want to know, you want to ask friends. So you usually will post for recommendations on Facebook. I actually, all the time, and you can do this wherever you are, use Facebook as a search engine, because you can now search in the inbox. So say in the search box, so say I wanted haircut, I could search for haircut Ubud, and then you can filter for posts from your friends and in your groups. So if I've joined some groups in Ubud and I know that those might come up, literally I'm going to then be able to see the posts that either my friends have posted or my other friends have, or other people in the groups that I'm in have posted. And usually somebody's asked the same question as you, like, hey, where can I get a simple haircut? Or where can I, get this service done? What's the best massage? Like, people have already asked a lot of these questions. And so you can kind of, go with this mind share, search this mind share. We're in such an incredible time to be alive for that reason. So just recognizing that all of your needs, this is a big piece about going nomadic or being location independent or uprooting your life as you know it in your town that you're in, with the house that you're in, is letting go of all the things that you think you need. And this is a really big one, because as I was leaving San Francisco, selling off everything, giving everything away, packing everything up, and moving to Hong Kong, all halfway around the world, and also as I was even leaving Hong Kong, packing up all my things, I put stuff in storage in Chiang Mai. But as I was doing that, one of the big pulls that you feel is this, yeah, but what if I need this? Or what if I can't have this? And it's all this really foundational needs. They're just foundational needs, right? And what happens is you're able to then, it really takes some rewiring. Even for me, who's lived halfway around the world, but I've had this solid apartment in Hong Kong. And so when I left Chiang Mai and I was like, okay, I think I can put stuff in storage, I had done that in phases. I had actually first gone to Chiang Mai with a carry-on and a one bag in December. And so I was able to kind of try living there for about a month and a half with just one suitcase and one bag. And one thing you quickly realize is that you're wearing the same thing over and over and over again. And you do, this simple laundry, but it's so easy to do. You just do simple laundry once a week. It's definitely less laundry than I had with my partner, because he went through a lot of laundry. Mine's I can wear this same dress twice a week, hi. We've got unplugged my light. Oh, there it goes. So essentially just recognizing that there are simple ways. So as you're noticing these fight or flight, they're fight or flight, that's what's coming up, is this foundational stuff where you're like, oh my God, am I going to be taken care of? Is recognizing that you can get all your needs met, and you might have to slowly show yourself. It's like proving it to yourself that it's possible, proving it to yourself that you're going to be able to get all your needs met no matter where you go. And the thing you quickly realize is that everything you want and more is out there and just waiting for you. So, and I say and more because it's all these things that you never even knew that you would love. All these ways of life that you never knew you would love because you never opened yourself to having those experiences. So one thing that was a huge priority for me as soon as I left, cold San Francisco, and then Hong Kong was amazing, but I never had a pool there. And for some reason, because everyone has pools in Hong Kong, but we just chose space in our apartment over having a pool, I guess. But just recognizing that I really wanted a pool. I want pool life, I want beach life, so I went and hung out at the beach for a while in Thailand and Koh Phangan, which was luxurious. Highly recommend you go to this beautiful, beautiful island in Thailand. And then also now here, even in Ubud, it's not near the ocean, but there's beautiful, beautiful pools at these villas. It is so lush out here. If you've been watching, I highly recommend watch my Instagram stories and look on Instagram, and you can see some of this just lush, lush nature. I literally there's monkeys crossing all the time. I wish so much one would pop up right behind us. That would be so fun. So just really remembering, and it might even just be interesting for you to see, what would be your SOP? What would be your land on the ground must-haves? And the thing is, things shift as well. I'm a big fan, I say this phrase all the time of be a curious anthropologist of your own fierce convictions. Because what happens is we get these fierce convictions where we get these things of oh, I could never live without this, or I must have this. but I want you to be a curious anthropologist of your own fierce convictions like that, because what's happening is that you are actually limiting your experience. And it's great to be opinionated and great to know what you want. Totally all about that. But I really want you to recognize where you might be limiting your experience by not staying open, by not being willing to try new things. And if traveling does anything, it has you trying new things and certainly living other places and really being able to be like the bamboo that is flexible in the wind, and being able to really have your home and your stability be within yourself. This is something that I work with my clients on all the time, no matter if they're location independent or not. This inner harmony and your own grounded sense of knowing within yourself that this is home, and that no matter that you can take care of yourself, that all your needs are met, that everything is going to be fine no matter what. It helps you actually learn how to speak up on behalf of yourself. Certainly when you're in foreign situations where nobody's even going to understand you, or they're even, who knows what the personality is like of the country or the location that you're in, to where if they're, being helpful. But most places, if you come to Bali, they're the sweetest, nicest culture and community ever, as well as most of Thailand. And so you'll find that they're so welcoming and everyone does want to help you. And a lot of times it's actually our own mindset, which is a mindset that runs through a lot of entrepreneurs anyway, which is this mindset of like, nobody's going to be able to help me. And it's a very deep traumatic wound often, that this started at a young age when you maybe had to take care of yourself, and that now you operate and walk through life being fearful that nobody's going to be able to help you, or that you have to do it all yourself. This has been some tapes that I've unwound, and I've definitely worked with a lot of clients that have had that as well, especially when you're in business for yourself and you're needing to hire other people, remembering that you're not alone and that you don't have to do it all yourself. So it's all very connected. There's this really powerful truth about owning your own business, which is that there's nothing more that teaches you about yourself. It is such a total journey of self-discovery, because you're constantly met face to face with your limits, and you quickly have to get really clear on what your strengths are, hire out for your weaknesses, and all of that is a big ego mental thing, right? And control, right? And perfectionism and all those pieces, and fear, insecurity, all that stuff. So this is all I work with, these incredible creative powerhouses. But honestly, no matter how successful you are, how much money you make, how many books you've written, these fears still come up. And so they're totally normal. And I'm here to tell you, you can also really strengthen these muscles. This is something that I have done for years and years now, because I have been in business for myself. I really feel like that all the years I've been in business myself has just strengthened these muscles. And there's even a particular muscle that I called, my friend Carrie actually coined this term, called recovery time, which is essentially, if you're in a time in your business, or you have certain times that you find yourself kind of downward spiraling, and whether this be that you get really overwhelmed, or it could be that you just have kind of a comparison, that'll do it, right? Spending too much time on Facebook will do it, where you all of a sudden find yourself in that comparison wormhole, and you have to trace back what set me off. I highly recommend you trace back what set me off, what thought set me off, or what seeing what, and then what thought ended up setting me off on that. So just recognizing, what was I even going on about there? But just recognizing how you can trace back your thoughts. Shorten your recovery time, which is that you can actually grow and strengthen this muscle. And this is, again, a lot of what I do and support my clients with, which is this inner strength and your own resourcefulness, so that when you are met with challenges, when you are met with times that you start mentally taking yourself to a dark place, or whatever, that it doesn't turn into a week or a month or even several days, but that you can actually shorten that recovery time down to literally, I think I have my recovery time very, very short these days because I'm able to spot the thought processes. I'm able to recognize where it came from, what's going on. I'm super aware of my behavior, which is like the ways that we derail ourselves. So this is like what I'm so passionate about. And actually, if you're watching this and you are an entrepreneur, if you're a service-based business owner, I have a survey that I'm actually just about to put out this free workshop. And so I have a survey that I've put together, and it's got these topics that I am interested in, but I want to hear from you guys about what you're most interested in. And if you're liking this, by the way, please hit likes and loves on this so that it can be shared with others. And of course, comment and share it if you think others would benefit from it. So I would love to hear your questions about location independence. What are some fears that come up for you? What are some questions that you have, or some things that you're like, yeah, but what about this? And how do you handle this? If you have any of those questions, please ask. Hopefully this transmission is coming through today. Bali's internet is not the best, but I'm hoping to move into another place with like super fast internet. But it's little things like that, right? Like, what about good internet? Yep, you gotta search for what you want, just like you can do in any place that you are, just as you would in your hometown. So I'd love to hear your questions, would love to hear any insights, and just want to share in terms of business in particular, that if you are in a place that is able to make the leap, one of the biggest suggestions I have for you is just to try it on. Try it on and help prove to your brain this mindset to help make that shift. Even if you just do it for a month, you try it for a little while. My friend Katie, who just joined, she totally does this for a few months every year, and so she knows. And just try it on for a little while and see how it is for you. See what challenges come up, and then how you resolve them. Because what you'll find is that you are stronger than you think, you're more resourceful than you think, and that you can absolutely 100% get your needs met wherever you are. And you become more flexible, more creative. Your skills of talking to other people get more fluid and better because you're able to actually speak up on behalf of your needs. You're more clear and aware of what your needs are, and you know how to act on behalf of those, like getting a pool for yourself or getting the things that you love. So really supporting you all in making that big leap. And if you have very business specific questions, what's another thing I'll share with you guys here in the comments is my list of systems and apps, which are great whether you are location independent, even if you don't have a business, honestly, they'll be helpful for you. Or if you are location independent, this whole list of systems is a way that you can manage your teams remotely, manage your projects remotely, manage yourself remotely, like travel tips, different things that help you even just run your business, period. So I will share that in the comments as well. And look forward to hearing your questions. Thanks so much for your comments and your likes. Please share this, or whatever you'd like. Make sure you also join me on Instagram if you're over there. I post all the time, and you'll be able to see more wonderful views. I'll do one right now off the deck saying hello to everyone so you guys can see, and you'll just hear the rush of that waterfall. And then all weekend, actually, here we've got this holiday in Bali that's called Nyepi. And so today there's going to be tons of parades in the streets. They basically are like dancing, doing this big thing about the spirits. It's all about not letting bad spirits in, which is like so beautiful. So there's going to be parades all day, and then tomorrow is a day of silence, completely silent. So my girlfriend Katie, who's on right now, is coming back into town, and we're like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard, but it's going to be beautiful because it's this day of silence, and it's just one day, and then we can like chat as much as we want after that. But I think it's so beautiful that they do this. We're talking apparently that like even mobile phone service is like turned off. Like I think Wi-Fi will still work, but they shut off all the lights, and nobody's in the streets, and there's even police in the streets to make sure nobody's in the streets, because it's all about like creating this peace and quiet for not letting the bad spirits in. I'm sure I'll learn more at some of these fun parades and everything today. At least I hope I do. It's just so fun to be able to dive into another culture. So lots of love to you all. Hope you're having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah.